But what you're not going to do is try to convince Americans to turn their back on their president. That, my dear, is not healthy. It's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for us.
6 months in, Steve, and here we are turning back on the campaign promises, and we bombed Iran on behalf of Israel. Yes, it was on behalf of Israel. We're entering a nuclear war, the World War III, because the entire world is going to erupt. And you want to know the people that are cheering it on right now? Their tune is going to drastically change the minute we start seeing flag-draped coffins on the nightly news, on Fox News that brainwashes all the baby boomers, and on CNN that brainwashes all the Democrat baby boomers. And that is exactly how this is going to go down.
Apparently, I'm back in time for World War III. And I hate to say that we told you so. By we, I mean me and Ian Carroll. Ian, I mean, it's incredible. And it's looking like we may be going to war, which either I had a crystal ball, you had a crystal ball, could see into the future, or this has been the most obvious and the most planned war in the history. And we're not the
only one.
The crystal ball has a huge crack in it, okay?
Yes.
A lot of people saw it coming. It was clearly the agenda. It's about much bigger things and about destabilizing the region. It's not about the nukes. And so the players that are planning things like this, they're not really concerned with what Trump wants or doesn't want. I think that Trump would be very easily swayed to think all you need to do is show him some intelligence reports, show him some spooky stuff about Iran's stockpile of almost nuclear material, and be like, look, they almost have a bomb.
So I trust Tucker beyond, more than any person in politics. The MAGA movement is going to change, okay? Yeah. And there's no question about that. Do you have Dave Smith's tweet? Yeah, there's a tweet where he explains, he's talking about the Trump dilemma, and I think it's very well written.
Yeah, Trump is on the edge right now. He's ready to burn his entire legacy to the ground.
What Trump are you talking about? I mean, it must be maybe your next door neighbors whose name happens to be Trump, but not Donald J. Donald J is a builder. I mean, like I said earlier, he's unorthodox. He sent real estate agents, if you will, over to the Middle East to negotiate with terrorists. Are you serious? You don't do that. He doesn't. He defies the experts, okay? The expert class, whatever. He might hear them, but he doesn't let them guide his policy, so to speak. He gets their input, but ultimately Donald Trump is about building. So why the hell would he want to burn down his own legacy, if only for his own ego? It doesn't even make sense.
Because everything was laid out for him. All he had to do was close the border, deport a bunch of people, and not go to war. And so far, it's failing on all three counts and actually going to the wars we didn't want. And it's really sad.
This is gonna be the one, the Candace is right jar. But it's not even that I'm right. I'm just paying attention. I'm just paying attention to stuff.
I wanted to provide the Candace is right jar. It's a big. She can grow into it. Girl, bye. Okay. It was not Donald Jaquavius that they were talking about. It wasn't him. Now, we've all said things online that were a little, if the sun shines the right way, if Mercury is in retrograde, that kind of thing. But you went way, way out there on that limb. And you took Porn Stash with you. And together, you made two gigantic mistakes. You bet against Donald J. Trump, and you bet against the American spirit. And you should be ashamed. You should. This dragging that you've been getting all day all over the internet, you deserve every single moment of it. How about we get back to being great Americans again? Wouldn't that be great? Even if just for one day. One day, everybody I encountered today was smiling and happy. One day, could we just have one day where there was no hate? Marjorie Taylor Greene, girl, you're so wrong. I think that Botox is just messing up your brain, girl. Lay off. Lay it off. No one needs that much Botox. Just relax. Enjoy that Georgia sun. Ease back a little bit. Practice just waving your flag and enjoying your life.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with both of you. And guess what? And the difference here, again, we have all been, critical of different policies, different issues, and things like that. Even different things President Trump has done. But we never bank on America to lose. And that is what they were doing because of their obsession and anti-Jew hate. This is what they were doing. But we don't do that. We would never do that because we love her too much talking about America. We love America. We pray for America. We defend America. We fight for America until the very end. And so what they're doing is not that. And so this is why these types of people need to be called out, whether they're on the left or right. They need to be called out, and they need to be turned off. And I hope you all do that. And people in the chat, turn them off. Turn them off. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I mean, I'm not as turned off about her as I am with Candace. I'm still hoping that she's going to come around a little bit. But if she doesn't, then she needs to be primary. As simple as that.
She's in the right area for it. Northwest.
Yeah.
It's Northwest Georgia.
I got a Candace like conspiracy.
Okay.
Oh no! Wait, let me open the jar.
Okay. Why is Candace always on vacation right before something major happens? I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, I had a dream. It's just a sense that I have. Maybe why is she always on vacation before something happens? So that's my conspiracy.
Yeah. Something's going on with her. I don't know what it is. Again, we all need to continue to pray for her.
Absolutely.
I don't know what has happened with her, but or maybe this has been her all along. I don't know. But I just always pray for God to reveal the truth in it all. Reveal it. All right, folks, I want to acknowledge our super chatters here. Thank you all so much. We appreciate you. Kung Fu CJ with a $2 super chat. Says, these people make me sick. Peace is not war. Yep.
Amen, sir. Amen.
Yep. We are moving right along. Well, I now remember what I was trying to say earlier before we get off of this topic, talking about Israel. I just talk about how they have gotten so much pushback throughout this war. I know Netanyahu is not everybody's favorite person, but not just him, just the Jewish people, Israel. They were told to stop. They were told to, let it go. And continuing to fight, because they had the capacity to just level the whole place, but they couldn't do that because they had these hostages there. So they've been going door to door, tunnel to tunnel, fighting this horrible, horrible fight. And they finally got them back. 20 hostages came back alive. 28 came back deceased. So again, we have to continue to pray for peace, pray for our ally there, one of our only allies in that region, and pray for them as well. Oh, go ahead, Nicole.
Do you know, KJ, to that regard, I hear people say that all the time, that people who kind of are, I hate to say pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas, but mostly anti-Israel. And when you take the names of the countries out of it, right? Let's just say, for instance, the United States was attacked, like we were on 9/11. Who in the world's going to tell us that we can't get our lick back?
Wow.
Who's going to tell us to hold back in defending our homeland? It is the same thing. When someone attacks you, if someone walked up to Shelly right now and hit Shelly, she'd probably put 2 in their chest and not think twice about it. And she has a divine right to defend herself. So what makes you think that Israel does not? Is it because of the people who live there? Because I tell you, Jews and Arabs both live in Israel. It's not just Jewish people. There are a whole lot of people in Israel. So people have to get over that hump. I hope the peace lasts. If it doesn't, it's going to be a lot of people, not just President Trump, but people from the Arab world, people from our side, talking to these people, trying to get over what we need to get over so we don't have to live through this again. So many people lost lives. Even the people who came home, they're never going to be the same.
No.
Never going to be the same.
And speaking of the hostages that came home but deceased, the Bibas family. So you guys remember, or I'm sure you heard of this family. We have an image one. They were the Bibas. Sherry was 32 years old. She was the mom. Kiefer was 4 years old, and Ariel 9 months old. They were taken by hostage. And here's a video. The dad was separated from the family initially. And then, of course, I believe the dad he came home, but the mother and the 2 children were killed. This is clip 5.
I don't think he knew. I don't think he knew that they had. I don't think for a while, maybe. I don't
right.
know if he knew.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so the first part of that video was the dad, Yarden Bibas, when they initially took him, and he was released, but he went a long time not knowing if his wife and his 2 children were alive. Well, initially, Hamas said that they died due to Israeli fire, but when their bodies were released, it did show that they were strangled. So again, this was the 2 children and the mother. So we show these things because we can't forget this, folks. We cannot forget this. This needs to be etched in the mind and memory of us all. And I saw a video of when they were going through the press conference today in Israel. And one of the leaders, it wasn't Netanyahu, I think it was the president, who said, we have long memories. We need long memories. And we need not ever forget that this took place. Because the barbarianism and the demonic, it was demonic. I mean, they were taking photos of this guy after he had been beaten. You know, we saw video of women who were sexually assaulted. I just don't understand people like Candace Owens and just the people on the left who can just push the hate that they push day in and day out about this.
Yeah.
Do you know what's I'm sorry, Shelley. Do you know what's unfortunately coming next when we talk about the murder of Christians in Africa? So when we talk about how Islam and that type of religion, I don't even want to call it a religion because it is a perversion of what they believe their religion to be. These terrorist organizations, not only on Jews, but on Christians as well. Again, from their perspective, there's only one God and it's their God. And if you don't bow, you will die. You will die. So we've got a big, big problem. When you take a look at the UK and you take a look at all the things that are going in Europe, and the US is not far behind. I wish I could tell you that doesn't happen. It happens here. Step outside in New York City and hear the call to prayer 5 times a day, but you won't hear a church bell ringing. We're upside down, folks. We are really upside down. What will you do for your freedom? What will you do to pass it on to your children? We're at a crossroads.
Yeah. Shelley, your final word on this?
I was just going to say, you're right. We have to have long memories. And particularly related to Islamists, go look at the history. Look at some, even I would say modern history. Look at their, not just their brutality. Look at the methods they use. They behead people. Literally, they burned them alive. I don't know if you all remember, I think it was back around 9/11, sometime after that, they put that young man, I think he was a pilot or something, they captured him, put him in a cage and put the gasoline and ran the line down and burned him alive on camera. And they like to advertise, if you will, their brutality. This is what they use for recruiting. We better have long memories. We can celebrate these people today, absolutely, and we should, and we must, because in celebrating, it should give us a glimpse, at least an etch, if you will, of how precious life is and freedom is and what we are standing for. Other than that, at tomorrow, don't forget the history of what these people do. They are walking evil. That's what they are.
Yeah. And I hate to say it, but we're not talking about Muslims, we're talking about Islam. And if you find a peaceful Muslim, then they aren't practicing their religion, because the Quran talks about kill the infidel. Okay. It's very violent. Not like the Bible. The Quran preaches violence. There's violence. The foundation is violence. Okay. I encourage you guys to take a look at Christian Conservative, what we put out last night, and we went into it, we delved into the Quran and how it is violent. Okay. And I'm not saying this to be mean or nasty or whatever. It just is. So, we need this. We want a country where we can all come up together and live in peace. But there are certain types of cultures and that don't want peace. They don't want us to live together. And so I don't know what kind of country we're going to have if we continue down the road we're going, folks.
Do you know, KJ, you're right. But let me say this. Sometimes you got to be mean. There comes a time in life where you got to call it what it is, look it in its face and tell it stinks. At this point, we have been overcome with this. The Western world is being overcome with this madness because we're trying to be polite, and they're using our own laws against us. So what would you rather be? Mean? Up in their face about it, or cover it up in sheets with your eyelashes showing? This is your choice. I mean, Ronald Reagan had it right. You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. This is from one of his most famous speeches, right? We'll preserve it for our children. This is the last best hope for man on earth. Without it, we're doomed to 1,000 years of darkness. If those words don't stir your soul, I don't know what will. At some point, we have to go back to being the Americans of the late 60s, the early 70s, who didn't give a damn about how else people saw us, how they viewed us, how they thought about us. But we protected the homeland, and people who wanted peace, we helped them too. We've got to get real serious, I'm telling you, or this Sharia law is coming for us. They will take over everything. And we'll be sitting there going, well, Jesus said to be patient. Let me tell you something. Pull your sword, arm yourself with the armor of God, and let's get to hacking these folks. We can't take a chance on this. We cannot.
Absolutely. Well, all right.